continuing on our look at the D chord, we're going to apply this in a couple different ways in this lesson. First of all, last time we looked at just switching between these. Now I'm going to give you a little lick that incorporates this. And this requires you to really examine your hand position. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck. Especially if you're playing acoustic guitar, the notes can kind of get in the way of themselves. But here's the lick. Okay, one more time. Let's break this down. So we're starting with the D. We're strumming our first, second, third, and fourth strings. Then we're going to hammer on 3rd fret. And then we're going to pull off while maintaining the rest of the chord. Then we're going to pull off with our 2nd finger, then pick the B string, then pick the G string. All right? Right away, if you're trying this along with me, you can tell that if you don't get your 3rd finger out of the way of this note, it's going to sound like this. Because by the time you go to pull off on your 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, you flattened your 3rd finger too much. That's the main thing that people struggle with when they're first learning this lick. All right, so do that a couple times, and if you've watched my Phase 1 series on JamPlay, you know I recommend doing something that I call chord push-ups. And really, it's not a push-up at all, but I don't know why I call it chord push-ups, but basically what you're doing is you're playing the chord and then playing the lick, taking your hand off, and you're resetting. This is a great way to program something into your hand. Once you're comfortable with that, start taking it to the other chords that are closely associated with the D chord. We're going to apply it with the D chord, the A chord, and the E chord. So we'll start with A, real simple strum pattern. Transition to D. Play the riff, back to A. And do that a couple different times, getting used to transitioning between A and D. Next, you can introduce E. And really, we're not going to do anything with E or A. We're just learning how to approach this lick using other chords, which is really the context of most licks or riffs or anything that you introduce into your playing. So that might sound something like this, again with a very simple strum pattern. Now, this idea with the D chord, you can do on other chords. These 3 notes are really cool notes to play around with using your other chord positions. And believe it or not, you can take A, for example, and you can use these notes. And it sounds kind of neat. You could also take some notes out of the basic A chord. We're going to take our middle finger off, or the middle note off. You can kind of play it however you want to in terms of fingering. We're going to play an A7. And then you can do these 3 notes with it. Go to your D. Part of what connects chords and helps you kind of jump over that hump of, oh, you're just strumming the same old chords, is by creating what's called a motif, or something that repeats through the different chords that you're playing. So what we could do is we could start with D, and we could do something like this. And we'll walk up to the D sus. But then we'll start with the A7, and then we'll walk up using those same notes. So it'll be like this. And then back to the D. So practice that a couple times. Then again, we're bringing those chords together with a little motif. We could apply that with a strum pattern as well. So just a really simple way to connect two chords with repeating notes. Hopefully you enjoyed this little segment on how to connect chords and how to make your basic D, A, and E chords a little bit more interesting. This is Chris Liepe for JamPlay.com. See you soon.